Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Before we get into today's video about the Batwoman ratings, I just got a bit of information I need to impart. Tonight's Real BBC will not be starting at 6 p.m. UK time. Gary, as you may know, is out and about on his jollies at the moment, and he cannot pick up an internet connection where he is and will be unable to attend. However, I didn't want you to go without the Real BBC. And so I reached out to the only person who I thought would fill that special guest co-host role in Gary's absence. And they said, okay, but I've got a lot of work to do and I can only start at about 10 p.m. UK time. I said, let's do it. So they agreed, and at 10 p.m. UK time, and that's British summertime because we've gone through daylight saving now, so I think 2 p.m. Pacific, adjust your clocks accordingly, myself and the Critical Drinker, as my special guest co-host, will be bringing you the Real BBC. We'll be going through all the usual wonderful stories that we cover that's been going on in pop culture over the course of the last couple of weeks. It's gonna be a doozy because there's some crazy stuff happening right now. Can't wait for it. 10 p.m. UK time, myself and a Critical Drinker with the Real BBC. Now then, let's get on to the Batwoman ratings. Can we please reveal the preliminary ratings for Batwoman this week? This is what was greeted, I was greeted with yesterday when I checked the ratings. And I, very tempted, of course, because these are the lowest ratings that the show's ever had, to do a video, but I refrained. And I refrained because I wanted to know the final results, because this is the preliminary. This is to be adjusted, but it's a there or thereabouts. It's a pretty good guesstimate. But I just had a feeling, based on the fact that yesterday's show, or a couple of days ago's show, was so piss poor, I was convinced they were going to be adjusted further down. So we'll get on to what they finish at in a moment. But even the preliminary had the show at the worst rating that it's ever had, down 100,000 on the previous week. How do you lose 18% of your audience in 1 week? Easy. You produce possibly, most likely, highly probably, the worst television show I've ever seen in my life. My life. And that's Batwoman. And of course, the really interesting aspect is the previous week was the reveal that KANE was still alive. So you would think if anyone cared about KANE, if anyone was truly bothered about that storyline, then they would tune in this week for more information about how that character has been written back into the TV show. Bearing in mind, of course, that Caroline Dries said that they won't be replacing Ruby Rose. They will not recast the character of KANE. They will go in a completely new and different direction, i.e., the color of somebody's skin, because that's how superficial and bigoted these people truly are. And by these people, I mean far left racists. They went and recast the role. They went and recast the role. Admittedly, the role so far has not required A, the face to be seen, because it's all mangled and covered in bandages, and 2, any words to be spoken thus far. So there is still the possibility that if the character was to be fixed, mended, whatever, that Ruby Rose could return and assume the mantle of KANE. But the viewership says, we don't care. We don't care. The beauty about Batwoman's virtue signaling is it's backfired in every single solitary way imaginable. First of all, they say, we're going to make a Batwoman TV show. And instead of saying, which is going to take us into the wonderful world of Gotham City with all these great characters, no. That's not how they sold the show. They said, we're going to produce Batwoman. Batwoman's going to be a lesbian. That's it. That was their pitch for the show. So they hire Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose is openly bisexual and gender fluid. Why not tick some other boxes? Go for it, girl. Or boy. Whichever you feel, I guess, on that certain day. But she's an open bisexual. So immediately, before the show had even got off the ground, they were met with resistance from the alphabet community. Not from straight people. Not from angry white men. No, they were met with a barrage of abuse from the alphabet community saying, well, KANE's a lesbian and you've hired a bisexual. Because it's so fucking important that you've got to be what you're playing. That's not how acting works. The hint is in the word acting. Pretending. Fucking whatever. So they went through that speed bump. The show, of course, was just an unmitigated disaster. You want a woman in the show? She's got a scissor. If there's a woman in the show who isn't scissoring, we won't mention what their sexuality is, which is quite interesting, because if it's unimportant for that cast member, why is it so important for the other cast members? Scratch my head. It's as if there's, of course, an agenda going on. And then when Ruby Rose left the show, and it seems to be under her conditions that she left. A, she didn't like getting injured. And the show seems to be an absolute disaster. B, she hated wearing the bat suit. Apparently it caused a reaction to her. Look, there's, you know, people have got psoriasis and eczema and all that kind of stuff. I'm not here to pick on that. So it could have been something in relation to that, but she didn't like the suit. It caused a reaction. She didn't like the hours. She didn't like the long hours of a TV show. And it looks like Ruby Rose was the one that said, I'm out. So Caroline Dries says, we're not going to recast KANE. We're going to go in a different direction. We've now got extra diversity Batwoman now. We've created a character called Ryan Wilder out of our arseholes. And she's not only a lesbian, but she's a black lesbian. So now we've got 2 diversity shields to hide behind. You can no longer have a go at us at all. And the actress identifies as bisexual, I think. But I think every actress now in Hollywood is bisexual or queer, simply, of course, to allow them to get more roles. Because why cut yourself off from an avenue? You can just virtue signal. Everyone else is. Why shouldn't they? So instead of people going, oh my God, this is amazeballs, they again, the alphabet community, again attacked the show, saying, how can you keep on going without KANE? She's irreplaceable. This is not good. Etc., etc. That's what happens when your show is based on virtue signaling, and it's not based off good writing, and it's not based off good characterization, and it's not based off good storytelling. You are just wasting everybody's time But my bank appreciates that. It truly does. So let's have a look at the adjusted value. Boom! It went down even further. From a 0.440 to a 0.435. This show is just, and I say just because they lost 100,000 viewers from the last week to this week, is just 35,000 people from going into the 300,000s. From going sub 400,000. The demo, a 0.1, it's a disaster. An absolute disaster. And I'll just touch on this very briefly. Yes, there's a rumor going around that the show will end after 3 seasons and that Javicia Leslie's character will then be moved across into Superman and Lois, which no doubt by their 3rd season will of course be going woke, because they'll lure everyone in with a good 1st season and then they'll, you know, most likely chop and change it. Don't think we don't know how you operate CW. But until that's absolutely confirmed, who knows? All I can say is I am so happy. Even though I lose brain cells every week going through this show, I am so happy that you virtue signaled and gave it a 3rd season immediately out of the gate when you've got no fucking viewers. Because the drop from season 2 to season 3 is going to be hilarious. And there's no Batwoman this week. This coming week, there's no Batwoman. It's again on another week hiatus. And it comes back the 11th of April, something like that. Which gives even more time for people to separate from the show. And with the storylines just being nonsensical crap, why should you tune in? We're on a road to nowhere. That is a great song for this show, because this show's been going nowhere since its first bloody episode. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.